All right, awesome. Hello, everybody. I believe we're live. You all know me in technology, so I'm just going to count on that. We're live right now, and I am talking to the awesome Adam Bomb Ray.
Oh,
And Adam, introduce yourself to the people.
all right. Thanks, Dorothy. Atom Bomb. That's my superhero name because I think we should all have one of those. We all have an identity, right? And I choose to use my superhero identity wherever I go. So, yeah, I just what about me? I mean, I've been a teacher for 20 years. I live in Illinois, just north of Chicago, and found Dorothy. Actually, met Dorothy kind of through a an online coaching program that we're both part of. But pretty much a super rookie as of like 2 months ago.
You
So
mean super rookie in trading, right?
yes, a super
Let me
rookie.
ask you. Actually, I should say before I go on, for those of you who don't know me, because I always think people know me, my name is Dorothy Hay. I am the original Ninja Queen, the creator of the Ninja strategy, trading strategy that has a 99.9% success rate. And Adam is one of the folks who's in my Ninja Newbies program, brand new to trading, didn't know well, I think you knew what a candle was, right? You didn't know how to trade or really how to read a chart or any of that kind of stuff, right?
Right,
So
right.
tell us about why trading first. Like what had you decide, you know what, I'm going to learn how to trade?
That's it. Well, for me, it's interesting. There's been a lot of points in my life where something will kind of just come in and it'll sort of catch something in my brain. Like I had a friend who's been talking about trading on and off here and there, and I never really paid much attention to it until I finally started to realize like he might know something that I don't know. This might actually not be as difficult as it seems, and something just that's always intriguing to me. Like when something gets stuck in there that goes, like wait a minute, something else is going on here that I might want to learn about. Because honestly, like throughout this whole lockdown time, it's been kind of a mission of mine to like figure out how in the world can I keep doing this, like live, work at home. Nothing against teaching, but it'll come back someday. And I feel for me, it's time to kind of move on. And it was like a great opportunity to learn about that because, like I said before, knowing you, and the programs that we share and like our coaches that we share, it wasn't going to just be like you would teach me the steps, and because you can learn, right? Like everybody I talk to about this, like, oh, there's free stuff over here, or here's some free information here. Well, this took me 8 years to learn, or this took me my whole life to learn. And I'm like, I don't want to learn how. I want to use this to get something else done in my life. So when I don't know, something, it just, I mean, and it happened really quick. Like, the idea came to me, and within a couple of weeks, I think I've thought about it enough. I'm booking a call, and I'm going to see what happens. Right, like we're gonna take this for a ride, and it's been fantastic. Like the program is, like I said, it's learning about, you learn the ins and outs. Like I knowing like a candlestick, but like what does it mean? Oh, okay, that sort of stuff, like little things. But like I didn't know what it meant. Just red looks bad and green looks good. I mean, except if you're going short with something now. Now I know that. So
Right now, red looks good, right? If you're shorting.
Right.
Oh wait,
red,
when did you come in? How long ago was it? Like
it was about 8 weeks. It was
right
before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, right? And
Right.
so now here you are coming to the tail end of your 8 weeks of trading, and you're in the ninja room, right? Because you finished your modules early, which people can do, right? So you finished your training early, and you got in the room. And what's the first thing you noticed in the first couple of days in the room? What happened for you?
Well, for me, it was really awesome to see. I mean, a couple things, just to see some things just like unfold, and you start to get the concepts from the modules, which is great. Like I dived in and like listened to them until okay, I think I get this. I think I get this. But then seeing them in real life unfolding. But honestly, just having you there as like that, right. I mean, like a mentor, right? Like, or just like, here's how to, like, this is why we're patient. This is why we're focused and disciplined. This is what we're doing. Like just to to honestly, I'll just put it like, it feels like a safe place to learn and just see it, because like there is no pressure, and it's like we're not about like, you know, if something does happen, you're there to explain why or what we're doing, or, you know, and then you're hearing other people too. You're seeing their comments and they're learning, and like, oh, I wouldn't even have thought of that. And either it was a success that was awesome that you hadn't thought of, or it was like, oh, maybe they messed up a little bit, but you can learn from other people's efforts as well. You know, again, in like either direction, if like the stocks, right? Like if it's a good thing, or, you know, if it raises or goes down, like you're still learning, you're still doing stuff. And
right. It's pretty awesome, right? And like, you know, when you have a question, what do you do? Like, because a lot of people, and many of them I've spoken to who are in this Facebook group, came from another service I was a part of years ago, and several services out there where there are hundreds and hundreds of people, and you ask a question, never gets answered, right? You ask the question, the chat's just going, and nobody even knows you're there and you're invisible. Does that ever happen in the Ninja Room?
no, I mean, honestly, you're in there, you've got a couple of your admin in there with us, you know, we're all trading, but we're all like asking or learning. I mean, I think I've seen at most like 15 people. I'm not even sure. Like it's small, it's personal. It's, like I said, it's like a safe place to learn it. Like for me, like I mean, and even if you do know what you're doing, then it's gotta be better than, like you just said, like you could be making mistakes left and right and just lost.
But what happens when you have a question? What do you do?
Right?
You get on the microphone.
Oh, would you? Right. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking like in those other groups, I'm like, I don't know what I would do.
Other ones, right. You guys are really spoiled because you're learning with me. In the other groups, you don't get an opportunity. You can ask and the question gets swallowed up. But in the Ninja Room, right, when you have a question, you get on the microphone, right? Yep. You're not sure about something. You don't understand the strategy. You're having challenges with your mindset. It does not matter, whatever it is. Ask, right? If you have to ask 100 times, ask. I mean, and I've heard you were asking right away, right from the get-go, right? And so how has that helped you in your learning?
Oh, that's helped a ton. Just to know. Right. I mean, like to see it unfold, but then to like, whether it's learning the Thinkorswim platform or just like the way to approach trading, honestly, it's sort of like, it can be intimidating, but like this is all you need to know. Like there's so much out there, right? Like, but we're not learning. I'm like sort of right away, even in the modules, I was like, there's a ton here I don't know. But I trusted. I'm like, well, she's going to teach me exactly what I do need to know. Yep. You know, like what happened, you know, and then even in the live room, like what happened here versus like, you know, did that matter or not? Like, well, we wouldn't even look at this chart and this is why, or here's right, you know, like we're sticking with very simple parameters. And even with that, it's like super cool to just, like I said, like you said, like just you have a chance, speak up, ask a question, you learn quicker, you get more confidence. You just like
are we gambling in there?
No, that's one of our, no, we absolutely not. I mean, that's what I hear from people like, oh, good luck, or oh, I've heard the markets are this, or I've heard you know, like I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but that doesn't matter. You know, we're not doing that. Like,
Now, had you looked at any other services when you decided to learn how to trade? No,
honestly, I hadn't. Like I said, I'd known.
You knew me.
Tiny bit. I know. But I knew you, and I trusted that you knew what you were doing. And once, honestly, I wouldn't do this another way. Like I heard people say, like, learn the free stuff here or learn this from here. And I'm like, hey, that's not how I want to learn.
Right.
I want this to go a little bit quicker for one. And the free stuff, I mean, like, great. I don't care about learning like, oh, which stock is going to do great this month, or which I'm like, I don't know. Like this is all too much. Like this all, you know, like I wouldn't do this another way, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, like if it wasn't for you and the way that it's set up and the help and the support that's provided, and like you said, it's not gambling. Like just even those were like, okay.
Yeah, right.
I'm interested. You know, I'm interested.
Pure strategy, right? No matter it works, no matter you're going long or short, right? But for someone like you who didn't know anything, right? And here you are 2 months later, and you're in the room, right? You're on the journey to 1 million with us, right? And I think, what are you up, like 8 or 9% or 10% or something already?
Yeah, it's
that.
You know,
Yeah.
going pretty well.
And we're going slow right in the beginning. We're just going slow. We're taking, I mean, I think I'm up like 11 or 12%, right? We're just going slow. We're taking our time. There's no rush, right? We'll get there, right? We use our discipline, right? What are our three main principles we operate from in the Ninja Room?
Patience, discipline, and focus.
Right. Focus, discipline, patience, right? Because why, right? We need to be not distracted. We need to be able to focus, and our trades are so quick, right? Usually we're in them 5 minutes, sometimes 10, 15 minutes, right? But even when you're trading, I mean, what I'm most proud of with you is like when you said, hey, I found the setup on Apple and I traded it on my own. And what'd you get? Like 12% or something, right? On
It
your
was a
own.
decent, yeah. It was just the one little small. It was a small one contract, yeah. But it was cool to watch it work, and like the
Right.
alert, like I knew how to set an alert, and it went to my phone, and then I went downstairs, and I had a little time, and
What
it was
to
cool.
do.
Yeah, right.
And knowing what to do led to that win, right? And I wasn't even there. You already know what to do, which is, the beauty of what I keep telling folks is, I want to teach you how to fish. And you
Right.
are definitely learning how to fish on your own. I mean, I'm so proud of you, really. Do you know how many people can't do what you did who aren't with us, right? They're out there and they're watching YouTube, and they're, my YouTube's pretty good. I actually give some pretty good info, but nobody's going to give you the $1 million secrets for free. Free
Right.
has no value unless you're going to spend the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years going through all of it and sifting through all of it and trial and error and trial and error. Meanwhile, you've just left how much on the table? I see. You should be proud of yourself, Adam. Hey, Cleo's in there saying
Right.
you should. I don't know if you can see the comments. And somebody says, hello, DH and Adam, but it says Facebook user, so I don't know who you are, but hello. And if you're here live with us, feel free to post in the, send us a little post in the comments so we can say hello to you. And any questions you have for Adam, especially if you're a brand new trader or you're aspiring trader, you're considering it. What would you say, Adam, to somebody who is like really thinking about learning how to trade? Like there are a bunch of people, almost 700 people in this group alone, who really, they're here for really one reason, right? Because they all have an interest in trading. Some of them on the mindset end, they want to get into some of that psychology of trading, but most of them are really here because they want to learn how to trade effectively so they can actually make money. What would you say to the people in this group who are trying to get ready to learn?
Mostly, when I would say like figure out what questions you have internally, like, hey, it's Yalit. Awesome.
Hey, Yalit.
I would say figure out your own internal questions. Like, what is it that makes you want to like, I had a lot of these questions answered for me. So coming from where I was, I'm like, I know why I want to do this. I know my time frame. I know my outcome, like in my life, not just with trading, but like, because once you have all those figured out, all the other questions are answered with you and the program that you have. Like, honestly, like, don't worry about like, will it do this? I mean, other than you trade the open and at the open and the close, like if you don't have that actual time, like that's when this happens. I've talked to people that don't have time to day trade. So, they're doing swing trading more. There's different.
Trade, right? Look at our top 4 list, 100%.
Right. So there's,
right.
And you have that too, right? So you don't
right.
have to do it a certain way, but like, so there are certain things that like you want to, like you have to be able to pay attention. You have like it's at first, especially in that ninja room, and don't make excuses for stuff. Like if you don't know something, learn it. Ask a question. Watch your YouTube channel. I've been on there. But if you're committed and you're, decided, I would say like the worst thing you could do is be on the fence and not sure. Like, well, I'll give it a shot. Don't give it a shot. I wouldn't give anything a shot unless you're willing to just get whatever. Like, I'm going to go in the kitchen and just make something. Well, good luck. What are you trying to make? Right. Like,
right.
Here's some flour and then here's some, I don't know, like it's just putting, stuff together. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to know what you're in for and know why you're in for it. Like, what am I signing up to do in my life?
Committed versus just interested.
Right. Honestly,
right?
If you're interested, there are the free videos out there and there's nothing wrong with them. Like my friend, like I said, the friend who he swing trades and he's learned over 8 years and he probably makes about 20 grand a year. It works for him. That's okay. Like nothing wrong with that. But, He's
curious about
not.
how much, and he can't answer that now. He's not here, but how much trial and error, right, did it take before you started getting successful?
Well, and
Right.
that's some of it too, though, and that's
Hey,
also the
Michael,
cool thing.
sorry, Michael
Oh,
Deanna
cool.
and
Yeah, yeah.
Williams, and I see Yalid. I think that's saying find a mentor that knows her stuff and you trust.
Yeah.
Committing yourself to the process is key. Absolutely, like to anything. It's not just about trading, right, Adam? It's
Right.
not just about the ninjas. This is about your life. This is about really stepping into your higher self, right?
Oh,
Your higher
absolutely.
frequency, so that it's going to show up in trading. It's going to show up in your marriage. It's going to show up with your family. It's going to show up everywhere around you, right? Because you're just operating on a whole different frequency, and you're playing a bigger game. Yeah, you're not giving yourself. I heard you saying, no, don't give yourself excuses,
Yeah.
right? And I say that to people, don't give yourself excuses.
No, 1,000%. That the mindset piece, and honestly, it's like this is such an accelerated because of the support you give and because of the way this is set up. I feel like my learning has accelerated, but it's also like the mistakes and the bumps that I've hit. Like I have come up already on, like you said, the mindset and the frequency issues that like I know exactly where I lie when if I make a mistake with what I'm doing or I don't see something, it just goes back years for me where it could lie in something like self-forgiveness and trust. It's like if I am beating myself up and I'm not trusting the charts, that's not my trade because I can't see clearly. I can't think clearly. When I'm clear and when I'm in my own right frequency, that's when the right stuff happens. And I've already seen that. Like, oh my God, this isn't just going to make me a great trader. This is already making me just even wanting to do this and knowing it. And, like I said, like not making those excuses, being committed and showing up as the person who succeeds has already made a difference. But then just being in this and already running up against like, oh my goodness, like it's not knowing the trade. I know how to make a trade. I've done that. Yep. All it would be finding more of them, right? Unless I'm stuck in some sort of beat myself up because I made a mistake, or maybe the chart does this or that. I mean, that's one of the things we talk about. Like we don't trade what we think or feel or hope, we trade what we see. So if I can't trust what I'm seeing, then what in the world am I doing? And that's already elevated, everything for me just in the last couple of days. Like, oh, that's my block. It's not like, oh, I didn't know what was going to happen with the chart and oh, but there was news over here and and then it moves like this and that. And there are ways you can learn those subtleties and that's fine. You'll get used to that. But none of those are what, I should have let that, like we've talked about it. I was like, what happened on this one or that one? It's like, oh, well, you actually had some room and all it did was bounce a little and kept going. Every single time I've made a mistake, it's been that pattern. Like I didn't trust something.
Right.
Like,
we trade what we see, not what we think. And Adam, Michael is saying that you are an inspiration to him.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
He's very inspirational. And so we trade what we see, what the chart is showing us or telling us, not what we think, not what we wish, want, hope, even when you're in it, right? You manage your trade, right? What did you learn? It's like if it doesn't, the setup is there. So if it didn't break down, right, what are you going to get out of it for? There's no reason to get out, right? Have a reason to get in, a technical reason to get in and reason to get out. A technical, not a mindset, not I was nervous and anxious, so I got out, right?
But that's exactly it, though, because that would, it's technical. Well, just make the choice. What else would be getting in your way? Nothing. It's got to be mindset. So you get that dialed in too. And you've seen it. You've seen the things people can go through, and so you're able to help with that sort of thing too. And it's just been like such a,
right. And the mindset. I mean, you got it down. I mean, we both have gone through other training together where we did a lot of mindset work. And I mean, I've got like over 30 years of transformational training behind me as a coach, a trainer, and having gone through lots of different processes over the decades since the 80s. I became a lifelong learner in 1988. I'll never forget. But we know how important having a clear head, right? Having your head in the game and having a very powerful mindset, not just while you're trading, but every day really in your life, right? Keeping yourself on a higher frequency like you do. Right? What's it like for you to put yourself and keep yourself there? Like, how is that for you? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it something that you still are conditioning in? Talk to me about that.
For me, it's like it's become a pretty ingrained habit. Although only maybe over the last year or so, and it's certainly been even more accelerated now that I've found even more things. But it's kind of like momentum. Like you start to align a few pieces, and it just they keep rolling in a way. And I feel like this is definitely getting to a place where, I mean, success in this for me is inevitable. You know, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, but
I mean, you're already successful, right? You're already with batting average like 80%, right? People who or people who have been training for years don't have your batting average, and you've been training for 2 months. Not even training for 2 months. You've been training for like 2 weeks, right?
No. Yeah, actual trading. Yeah, like I got to sit in with you guys for a few days before the winter break when you went on your own little siesta. Yeah, your little
last 2 weeks
or whatever you called it. Right. So and even that was inspirational. I was like, oh yeah, and I've even gotten more intentional with my rest since joining the program. Like just realizing, like, and it is well. Anyway, let me get back to. I'll just keep talking about that, but yeah, the mindset. I would say like having that key is like it's just as important as like learning. You know, like if you're going to learn something and do it well. Don't just like I kind of know what a candlestick means, or I kind of know what this and that. Like you don't want to kind of know, you want to really know it. And it's the same thing with mindset. You don't want to like, well, I kind of do gratitude work, or I kind of, it's just you got to be committed to that too. I mean, it does. Like I would say, right. I would say that anybody can do what I'm doing, but you have to show up as your best self also. Like, but it's not exclusive to me. I'm not the only one who, knows this stuff, or can do these things. Anyone can do them. It's just, are you going to? And
but you actually do it, right? You actually show up.
Right. And that's one of the things that actually you've talked about that I love is like making those mistakes. Like how often are you going to touch the hot stove? And I've struggled enough in my life. Where I'm just like, forget it. I am done getting results I don't like, whether it's with relationship or money or my kids, just like, I can't, that's not the type of dad I want to be, whatever it is. I'm just like, this stinks. I don't want to do that anymore. So having you there to reinforce that is very helpful as well. So
yeah, I call it the cheeseless tube of doom, right? And you just keep going down the same. It's like when you're on the highway or on the road and you go to get off and it says that big sign that says wrong way. You don't keep going. You stop and turn around, and your GPS says recalculating route, right?
Right.
But you don't just keep going down the same road if it's not working, right?
Oh,
and
please,
if you lost, everybody does, right? And when you lose on a trade, you don't go into this emotional tailspin. It's just information to let you know how you did. Did you trade what you saw, or did some emotion get in the way? Did something else happen, right? But then you adjust, right? You don't keep doing the same thing. You make the adjustment, right? Like you just adjust yourself, like it's like anything, right? You just don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And when you know what to do, especially with us, right? You know exactly what to do. You know how to trade now. You know exactly how to trade profitably, right? And you know what happens when you don't follow the rules, right? If the setup isn't there and you dive in because you want to get in early, or you're feeling greedy, or you chase something, right? Mm-hmm. You already know what's going to happen when you practice those bad behaviors, right? And so making that list of, the do's and the don'ts, right, for you. And so how would you say for you now going forward, give me a guesstimate of where you think it's going to take your journey to $1 million. I think it's going to take you less than 2 years, but because it's going to take me less than 2 years. And I think either of us, right? 2 to 3 years, right? The beginning is just nice and slow. We're getting there. We're finding our groove, right? And then.
Yeah. I would.
It's not overnight, right? People
No.
are going to go in 2 years and see you at $1 million and being like, wow, that was amazing. It was like you did it overnight. And they're not going to see like this is why I wanted to have this conversation now, to see where you're at right now. And then you might have some more conversations along the way, right? To watch where you go, the ups, the downs, the challenges, all of it, because it doesn't happen overnight. And we're not in here trying to make $1 million in a day, right? We're not in here going, oh, you're going to make $20,000 today. No, right? You got 500. Oh, we're going to turn it in. We're going to quadruple it in 2 days. No, you're not going to do it. Unless you're gambling and you get lucky and you can go all in, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so my guess is 2 years for you. What do you think?
I think that sounds about right. I mean, that for me, just like, because I know for me, it's just a question of getting that, just getting that consistency with, and honestly, sometimes it does feel, because you honestly will go through everything. Like, I didn't know what it was like. You're like, oh, well, you don't want to chase. And now I'm like, I can see it like, oh, no, that's the chasing feeling. You can watch the thing like, no, but you haven't done your resistance levels. You don't know where this thing is going to stop. So then if you don't know where it can go to, you don't get in the first place. Or if it's right up next, oh, it's right there. That's only like 50 cents. There's not enough room. I shouldn't do it. So don't do it. Right. Like, so some of it is just seeing it unfold and like, what was that feeling? What was that? Like, oh, that's FOMO, or that's, or that's, whatever. Like, oh, that's a thing. I actually did go through that. Oh, okay. Don't trade with that sort of that move on. Or just honestly, like, there's been a time, my very first day in there, that I was like gonna trade, not like, so since the new year, so like January 4th or whatever it was, it was just like everything was so quick. I'm like, which one? And then I'm like, I didn't trade anything, but that's okay. Like, if it doesn't come, you'll get it tomorrow, or you get another one. You set an alert, or you just start to learn, those little things. So like I said, it's about getting like the consistent daily. Take a win if it's there. Don't push it if it's not. It's sort of like, the worst thing you can do if let's say you're going to the gym. I mean, like, pushing it's good, but you got to know yourself. What's pushing it and what's being stupid? Like, yep. Are you taking calculated risk, and why? I mean, like, if this is, I mean, if you're playing on a broken ankle, great, but be careful, right? Like, so this is the same sort of thing.
Cause unnecessary pain.
Right.
If your ankle is sprained or broken and you're playing on it, you're going to cause unnecessary pain. You already know what's going to happen, right? We want, hope that that's not going to happen, right? And I think that's what you're saying. Like in trading, if the setup's not there, then what the hell are you doing there? Really? Open the window and throw that money out. Open the front door and throw it out there, because your neighbors will probably get a whole lot better use of it if you're going to be disciplined, right? Remember, focus with patience. So what you're talking about is really being disciplined as a trader. And you know how powerful that is for you to know that and learn that now? Do you know how many people didn't know that? I didn't when I first started. Nobody taught me that, right? I learned it the hard way, most people do. And, going through all these services where, there's just nobody leading the way, really. And you end up learning on your own, and it costs you 6 figures or more, right? And it did for me. And I call it my Ivy League education, right? Because now I can help you guys maneuver those landmines, right? That I wish I had a me back then. Like, I wish I knew then what I know now, right? But it's beautiful because I can help you go through that. So, you don't have to go through all of the things that most traders go through, where, they go in there and they just don't have a strategy and they're following most times there's like 2 or 3 or more different traders, and they're, when one trade's not working, they got the 3 different screens going, and they, different windows open, and they're trying to follow, and who's got the trade and who's got, you don't have to do that. I mean, the most you have is like on my screen, right, where I'm setting up the trades for you. And even that's a lot for some people. It's like they got to mute me after they pick their 2, right? And
I have done that, honestly. Like, the first couple of days, I'm like, oh, this is what it is. You just pick the 1 or 2 and you hone in. And if, or if you're just waiting for a setup or something, you're just like, this looks pretty good. But honestly, staring at a screen will tell you how long 5 minutes actually takes. And you're like, just relax. Give yourself a minute. That 5-minute candle hasn't set. Like, you could just keep staring. Oh boy, this is
good to see.
Like, my eyes are getting tired. But yeah, and that's fantastic too. Like, so right, to have like your expertise, your, what you've seen and that you can give to us. And I'm not making 6-figure mistakes. I'm making, 2 or 3,
right.
2-figure, 2-figure, 1 and 2, honestly.
One and two figure
and even the 1-figure mistake, like, I'm like, I just lost $5. I'm like, I don't like that. I want to learn from that. So honestly, like you say, like, journal your trade. I'm like, my 3 screens, I've got my screen and I've got the Zoom call with you guys in your room. And then on the other side, I either have my win journal where I write down what I did, even if I didn't get my target for the day yet, like, that's fine. But I write down my wins. And then another tab on it is just my, the one that you've provided us, with the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So that's over there. So I can take a second and write it down, because that's honestly been invaluable. I went through that, like, just let me take a look. And what was it like where was the time? What was it looking like? I do know what you're like. I have a little self-doubt. What was it? You do know what you're doing. You're okay. Like, and it's like getting that ingrained. And once that happens, it's the consistency comes, it's just a question of, like, all right, like, how big is my account now?
Right.
And how much can I trade? Because if I could trade consistently and make $20 consistently, I said that once, so I forget what it was, but you called me out, because I said just $8. I was like, well, it's just 8, and it's never just, because if you can do 8, you can do 80, you can do 8,000. It's a question of
scaling.
Just
right. How many contracts? Right.
And that's it. And like, and then, well, I mean, by that point, don't let the number get in your head. Right. I mean, you wouldn't, like, if you just gave me $100,000 right now and said, go to town, I'd be like, well, first of all, I'm going to wait, because I still don't have that consistency built in just yet. But also, you're just not used to seeing it. Like, the first time I got my biggest trade that I made was 18%. And I was just like floored. I was like, I didn't know that could happen. Like, I'm like, calm down. It's okay. This is going to happen a lot. Like, 18's enormous. And it's not enormous. People are posting, I got 51, or I got this. I'm like, you just normalize it. Be okay. Be cool now, with the small stuff.
Just number, right. And it's like 18%, right? And tomorrow it's going to be 18%. It's just going to be a bigger position. That's it, right? You're just going to scale it. Once you get that in your DNA, like you have been, you're starting to condition it in. It's like, not that 18% isn't a big deal. It is, right? It's like 18% on a small number, but 18% on, 10,000, on 15,000, on, as you grow, that's a hell of a lot more money, right? And it's like $8 becomes 80, becomes 800, becomes 8,000, right? And so, what you're talking about, really, a lot of everything is all of the principles of, keeping your focus, keeping your discipline, particularly with your journaling. Great job. I hope you guys are paying attention, especially if you're not in my service yet, right? Get yourself journaling if you're not journaling yet. Make sure you are keeping track of what's working and what's not, so that you could make any necessary adjustments. Because this is what Adam's talking about, right? How valuable is it for you, Adam, to go back and look at your journal, even, 2 months, a month, even starting in paper trading, right? To go back and look in what's even the last 2 weeks, to see clearly, based on results, not based on what you wish, want, hope, or think, but based on your actual trading results, what's working and what's not working, right? It's very clear. The numbers don't lie.
No, you can maybe stare at them harder and wish that they would lie to you and tell you what you wanted to hear, but it's much better to have them tell you what's actually there, so you can make an actual change.
And what you'll notice sometimes is the number will be higher than you think, right? Because then sometimes people, like that, you've seen some guys will beat themselves up, and it's like, well, let's take a look at your journal. What the hell are you talking about? You're very much in the green and you're batting over 90%. How are you beating yourself? You're not 100% yet. Okay, I get it, right? But you're gonna, if you want to really see what you're made of, become a trader. You really want to see what you're made of, become an options trader. You want to see your superhero and supervillain come flying out, become a ninja trader.
I would.
All of your stuff comes up.
I would attest to that as well. But the awesome thing is that it's absolutely doable. Just because everything came out doesn't mean you have to succumb to it. I mean, there is a way.
Now you can do something about it. Now you see the price you pay when you allow that side of you to run you, right? Your
Right.
dark side or super villain, or if you're playing small or you're being anxious or greedy or any of those negative things, you get it instant feedback. A friend of mine said the other day, what I love about what you do, Dorothy, your people get to see instantly, like when their head isn't in the game or their mindset isn't straight, they get immediate feedback. Immediate,
Mhm.
right? Because you're going to lose money like that very fast if your head isn't in the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But so you can change that fairly quickly, right? And once you shift that, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's simple. And if you don't change it, right, you'll lose 2 or 3 times looking very much to it. Okay, what does that mean? Looking back, I don't know what that means. I think that's Yalit, is it? Or is that a different? If you says, I'm seeing Facebook users, so just type your name and let me know. Though I do see Mike and Michael, and yeah, I don't know why some people it says Facebook user. You might have to
You
let
have to
stream.
register. Yeah, you have to register through StreamYard or something like that.
But anyway, so thank you. But for you, it's that being that disciplined and being and learning and getting that instant feedback, right? Right? And you don't have to lose 100 times before Yali. No, that's Bob Williams. Okay, Yali, thank you. Hey, Bob Williams, good to see you. That's Bob. Gotcha. Thank you, Cleo. Yeah, we can't see it. It's just some of you we see, some of you we don't. We see Facebook user. But anyway, for to get that instant feedback, right, where you now can do something about it. Sort of like basketball, right? You miss a shot. You don't sit there and cry about it. You shift. You know what to do. You got to, because by the time you hang out there, the ball's down the other side of the court and the other side is scoring, aka the market, right? So you have to keep that focus and that discipline, right? The patience comes in where for you?
Yeah, I mean that
about that 5-minute candle waiting.
the patience is the patience. It'll because well, I mean, like you don't have to be patient. You'll just pay the price later. So it's like, which one do you want to do? Like, well, I'm not very patient. Well, is that true, or
right?
Are you just like it? So yeah, waiting for it, and if it takes all day, it takes all day.
Right.
It's better to be patient than sorry, like with the stuff that the little things that you rather, it's better to wish you were in a trade than wish you were out of one. And that right there has been like, there's been times where I'm like, and you watch and you're like, wow, that setup went south. Like just because one thing wasn't there, one of the 5 key things that you drill in us wasn't there. And then all of a sudden it just goes the other direction. And you're like, oh, it's funny how that worked. Huh, I'm just going to move along. It's like, well.
But you have to see it, right? It's good for you to see that, because when I say green light go means all 5 are yes. If one of them is no, then you don't do anything. You leave it alone. And then you'll see why, right? Because everything I tell you, there's a reason for it. Yalit says patience pays. Yes, it does. There's a reason for it, right? So when you watch it and you go, well, but it's almost there, but 4 of them are yes. And then that 5th one doesn't break resistance. What happened?
Yeah. It's it. You start trying to tell it, well, maybe it's okay. Like maybe I'll make an excuse for it and it'll just turn around. Like, no. If you make excuses for stuff in your life and it happens to work, then that's great. But excuses eventually you're going to get the same crappy results. Like I can't make it.
That's true about everything, right? You give yourself excuses to play small and not step into your higher self, not step up to a higher frequency. Well, you're going to keep getting what you're getting, right? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And in order for you to do anything else, the answer to your request for your goals and your visions is on the outside of your comfort zone. So you got to step outside of your comfort zone, get uncomfortable, and really get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to get outside that comfort zone. You got to stretch yourself, and you got to step into, right? Okay, what if I could? A lot of people have that mindset that, oh, I can't, oh, COVID, oh, I don't have, oh. It's like, no. Just start asking the question, well, what if I could? Right. I wonder what would happen if, right? Would you agree, Adam?
I would, yeah. I love the part. What it reminds me, honestly, is one of the modules you have us go through, where we write down kind of where we're at, and it's without judgment. So like you're saying, like, what have you been doing? Let's look at it, and you don't want to make excuses, but like write down where are you starting from? It's sort of mapping things out, right? But the part that I love is just like whatever you wrote down right now, like you write down, here I am as a trader. This is what I've done. And which for me was like, okay, not much. And, you write things down, or just in life or anything, honestly. Like, I want to run a marathon or lose 50 pounds. Where are you? What have you tried? And the line that I love that you said was, anything you wrote down, you can change.
Yep.
And because it's true. Well, I wrote it, so write something new, and then take the steps that it takes to get there. Like, it's as simple as that's changeable. It's only by holding on to those excuses and you continue. Well, wow, that was great for you, or must have, like we do that so easily, dismiss someone else's success, or, well, that was easy for them. Excuse me? I know. And not to make it about me. I'm like, no, this isn't easy. Easy looks like what I was doing, and that pissed me off. Easy was making me mad. Hard is making me happier in a way. So it's so funny. Like, no, it's not easy, but it's happy.
Right.
This is better over here. This is better to commit to something like this. This is, I mean, if you'd have gone back in time and told, I don't, like you said, like if right, if someone would have been, if I had a me back then, I'm like, I don't know what I would have done if you'd have taught my 18-year-old self, cranky and whatever I was back then, just, hey man, you could do da-da-da instead of thinking that you have to go this way. You could learn how to, here's a, time warp, here's Dorothy, here's this stuff, or here's the online. Like, I mean, it's great because it's setting up now for the right time now. But like, if you'd have told me then I didn't have to do all this and struggle like this, I'd have been like, wow, really? That's, although I hadn't been through the struggle yet. So sometimes it is, you take your lumps and you learn it the hard way, but you just do that. I wrote it down, I can change this. And that's like so empowering. Like, this is the same thing. Like, well, the charts are the charts. The setup is the setup. The setup's not going anywhere. Are you going to come and see it? Will you take advantage there? Well, why didn't you jump in? That was your move. You didn't take your move. Oh, okay. Next time I will then, or whatever, whether it is like taking the wrong move or not taking the right move. Like that, you could have stayed in. Like, I've jumped out at times where I could have stayed in. Like you said, the pattern didn't break down. So what did that mean? Just, it's the up leveling that, like you have to show up as your best self, but then it just keeps feeding itself. And it's super awesome to be in like a program like this, where it's expected, honestly. Like, this is just how we do it. This is how it's achieved. This is how it's done. And it's 100% doable. It's just deciding to do it.
Awesome. One thing you said about, if you write it down, I always say, whatever you write down, you can change, because sometimes people get a little emotionally charged by what they write down, or they don't want to write something down. They may be embarrassed, or they haven't, whatever story they told themselves. And the reason is, when you write down your current reality, it's like, say you're going on your dream trip to wherever, you're going to the Maldives, and you call up or you go online and you say, I'd like to book a flight to the Maldives. What's the first question the system's going to ask you, right? Before, it used to be you got on the phone and the operator would ask you, but you go on there, you have to put in your departure. Where are you departing from, right? You have to know, in order to map out the route, the right way you're going to go, you have to know. And you have to know when you want to arrive in the Maldives, right? Well, I want to arrive in a year. Well, then you're going to take a different route, right? It's going to take you a lot longer. There's many different ways. You could take a scenic route. You could take ships. You could take, cruises, whatever. Across, you could take a flight and a mixture. But if you want to get to the Maldives, like in the next couple of days, well, you're going to take as direct a flight probably over, across the water and across the pond. And, you're going to go more directly, depending on when you want to get there. Right. And so, but in order to get there, in order to know that what that path is going to be, you have to know where you are right now. Mm-hmm. You have to know. And anything you write down, when I call it my current reality, when you're describing it, even if you feel emotional about it or you get charged about it, don't get upset, get excited, because anything you write down, you are going to be able to change, right? You get to look at it and say, okay, do I still want this? Like you said, is this, it's going to be hard to go over here. Well, all of it's hard, right? You choose your hard, right? It's either going to be hard staying poor, or playing small, or being depressed, being drinking, whatever it is that you use to cope. That's really hard. And maybe in the moment you get, temporary relief or whatever, but in the long run, right? And that's really hard to stay small. It takes a lot of energy for the people who come into my space. All of you are such big people, like you have such amazing spirits. It takes a hell of a lot of energy. It has to keep you small all that time. And so that had to be hard. It's like, yeah, it's going to be hard going higher now, but it's going to be hard no matter what. Choose your hard. Do you want it to be hard and fun, or do you want it to be hard and depressed, or hard and like struggle, or hard and rat race, or hard, you know what I mean?
That is 100% true. And I think those were the questions I was asking for the last couple of years, like why this is difficult and I'm not getting anything good out of it. My life is just keeps grinding. It's like a rot in your gut almost. And it is, it's just, this is such a relief to be able to do something and know like, oh my goodness, I can choose it. Like this is so much of a, for me personally, just like an arc of alignment, just that it keeps happening, you know, like this just keeps feeling more and more right. But it's like, it is hard either way. You're absolutely right. But this one is just like, well,
it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm absolutely in control of that. So which one do you want? Like, do you want because you know what you're going to get, honestly.
Right.
Like the fruit will not change until you change what you planted. Like,
right.
That just is the bottom line. It's just the way things work. You can hope for something new, but it just won't, you know, and like, well, this is the way I get something new. Then I'm going to step up. I'm going to sign up for this program.
A different seed, as you put it, right? Plant a different seed. Like, so coming into the Ninja Room, it's like you can plant a different seed, go into YouTube channels, right? It's going to take hell of a long time to grow. But even in the Ninja Room, you plant a seed. You don't look at it and be upset at it when it didn't grow in 2 hours. What the hell's wrong with you? You didn't go. What's that? Is it the Chinese bamboo? I remember, I think it was Kenny who put in the Chinese bamboo where it takes like 5 years before it breaks ground, right? And they're watering it, and they're nourishing it, they're nurturing it, they're doing everything. But then all of a sudden, right, and they're laying that foundation, and then all of a sudden it breaks ground and it shoots up. I forget, it was some ridiculous like months, and all of a sudden it's like 500 feet high.
Yeah, no, you're right.
5 years of preparation and nourishing and nurturing and watering and all of that, right?
Yeah.
But so anything you would say to some of the folks, and many of them have already been on the phone with me, and they're still telling themselves their stories, right? Not good or bad. They're still in there. I'm going to go talk to my wife, or I'm going to go, think about it. I'm going to go whatever. I mean, it's the story, we all know the stories we tell ourselves when we don't really want to step up. Not good or bad, not right or wrong, no judgment whatsoever. It's the only question is, right, are you ready to do something different? Are you ready to actually be successful? Are you ready to learn what you need to learn? But what would you say to somebody who's like right on the fence?
You won't regret it. Go ahead and be brave. It's okay. Like, it's scary. It's a jump. The floor is closer than you think, whatever it would be. Like, just
now, but will it work for them? Because that's everybody's question. It sounds great, but will it work for me?
Will it work for you? As long as you show up like a champ. I mean, honestly, like, it's up to you. It's up to you. Do you want it to work? Well, and that is the question. Then answer it. You can answer that one yourself. You don't need Dorothy to answer that. You don't need me to answer that. I had to answer. Will this work for me? And I said, I mean, honestly, even before our call, I was like, I'd watched the different video, like just whatever, search things out and you wonder. But I just got excited. Like, I can remember stopping at one point being like, oh yeah, I haven't had my call yet. I'm still acting like I'm like in my head. I was already so excited and like, yeah, this is great. It's working. And then, I'm like, wait, I still have to like talk to her first and get in this program, and I didn't have any like doubt that I would, but like, go ahead. Like, will it work for me? I don't know. You tell me. Like, honestly, show up like a champion, it will. But
yeah,
answer that when you're that.
Beautiful. Show up like a champ and it will. That's exactly right? Show up like a champ, like your higher self. Step into, your big boy shoes, your big boy pants, your big girl pants, whatever. Step into it, right? Step into it. Own that higher self of you and decide, right?
Yeah, show up like your life depends on it, because it probably does. Because that's your choice. You can live and go up on that frequency, or you can stay stuck. So show up like your true self depends on it. Yeah.
I love the airline analogies, but it's like if the plane's like, you get on a plane, it's different now, right? Because we're COVID, but generally you get on a plane and the stewardess or steward comes out and they read the emergency instructions. What are you doing? You're just reading the magazine, you're not paying attention, and they're showing you where the emergency exit. Most people don't pay attention. It's just wrote, whatever, yeah. But all of a sudden, the plane starts going down, and out comes the steward or the stewardess and says, okay, everybody, listen up. Here, and goes through those same instructions. How are you going to listen? You're going to listen like your life depends on it. You're all of a sudden those, and I think that's what I'm hearing you say. Put on those listening ears, right? Come in the state and in the mindset of the champion that of course, this is going to work for me. Of course, I'm going to listen like my life depends on it. I'm going to play this like my life depends on it, like my future depends on it, right? And, and at the same time, we stay light about it, but it's like, look, if you want to succeed at this or anything in life, it's not just here, right? You go all in, right? Whatever you're doing, even if you're doing something completely different, right? If you decide to do something, what I hear Adam saying is, do it well, right? Don't do it half-assed. Do it. If you're going to do something, do it, right? Make your signature matter. Be impeccable about what you sign. Be impeccable with your word and your commitment and your challenges. Like go at it, right?
Right.
I think we can have this conversation all day. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, wow, we've been talking for almost an hour. Oh my God.
It's fast. It's fast. But this is what I decide. I mean, like I wake up every morning and make decisions like this.
Yep.
What am I grateful for? How am I going to see this? Like, what's the opportunity here? What, just any of those higher, it sounds like,
right. You guys hear the questions he's asking? What am I grateful for? What's it going to be like? I wonder what's going to happen. Do you hear those questions? They're not, oh no, here it goes another day. I hope I can do it. I hope. You hear the difference? You hear the difference in his language. You hear the difference in his energy. Right. That's exactly how you need to show up. Right. So let's look over. I'm looking over at the chat here. Does anybody have any questions for Adam at all because we're going to start to wrap up in a moment. Looking, I see Yalit, Bob, Michael. Michael, I hear you're doing amazing things out there. Michael is somebody who's had a BT call with me and has not joined the service yet, but I set him on a little path. And Michael, how much did you start with? I think you started with 500 5 weeks ago, and I think you got to 3,500, or 2,000, and then 3,500, and then took some out, and they're doing something. But Michael, you still with us? I don't know if there's a delay or if you're still here. Let me look on the Facebook.
That's pretty good. I mean, he's
that's pretty something posted in the room. He's like, after that call, it just changed his thinking. Here he goes. Correct. Okay, I see you. There might have been a little delay, but awesome, Michael. I can't wait till you get in the room. You see what Adam's doing? That's you, right? That's you. He's like, he went from 500 to 3,500. He posted there in the chat. And that's after one breakthrough call. Imagine what, Michael, you're going to do after being in the room with me every day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, if you already know that much, then just get a little bit of that jet fuel from being in the room, man. Shoot.
Really, that's pretty awesome. So anybody have any questions for Adam or me or Adam? And notice I'm very proud of myself. I'm feeling like a little bit of a tech goddess here. I figured out how to put a banner.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
NinjaOptionsWarrior.com/apply. I am with you all the way in focus, Michael says. Awesome, Michael. If you want to get on my calendar right now, I think there's a 2 or 3 week wait. There's a wait list. Yeah. So
that journey to a million things has a little ring to it.
It's fun. We're having fun with it, right? But if you want to get on my calendar, book a spot, because when people sometimes don't show up, and I think you guys have already seen it. I mean, Mike, you're here, right? Mike Worthy, you came from when I hopped on a Facebook Live and said, well, my appointment didn't show up. Who's ready? So just because you book an appointment 2 weeks out or so, pay attention, because if someone doesn't show up, I literally jump into the Facebook group and go, who's ready? And every single time somebody else is ready, because when someone doesn't show up, that means somebody else is ready, right? The universe just ejected that person out of the space because they were really either interested or really not committed or really not ready or whatever their story was. It's okay. But somebody else out there is ready, willing, able, ready to go. And my personal intention and my personal commitment is to help 250 of you take $1 million out of the markets in the next 5 years. So I think there were like 70 on the, took me 2 seconds. But yeah, Mike, it took you 2 seconds. He literally jumped into them. Bob, you were behind him. I think Bob, you kept saying, because 2 people didn't show up that day. And the first time Bob was like, oh, I'll come. But somebody else had got in ahead of you. And then I came. And then Bob's like, I'll go, but somebody else had gotten it. So come, like, it was like just after I closed the market out with everybody, and I was getting on my MA call, and I saw Bob going, I'm here. I'm like, all right, let me get up there to Bob. And it's awesome to see both of you in the room now. Well, actually, Mike, you're in the foundations, but you're coming into the room shortly, right? I think we're going to be doing your assessment soon. But anyway, yeah, so awesome. So pay attention, get on the calendar, book your spot, and just pay attention to the Facebook. Make sure you check the notifications. So if I go live, and if it's a middle of the day, random live like that, it's usually because somebody didn't show up. And someone's lost opportunity is your gain, right? That's your opportunity. So yeah, be ready. And Mike Worthy says yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, Mike, you're going to be up here shortly. Mike, you're brand spanking new as well, right? And you're going to be up here. I'm going to be having this conversation with you in the not too far future. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what you're doing, from what you've learned, from where you are right now. You just started to where you're going to be in about 6, 7, 8 weeks. It's pretty awesome. So anybody have any questions at all for Adam or us? I see people are inspired by you, Adam. It's pretty awesome. So any closing words of wisdom to the people, Adam?
From what I've said already, no, answer I guess if you've made it this far and you're still having a question, then just answer it. Just answer it for yourself. It's okay. Like, no judgments, no whatever. You're allowed to have, that's when one of the most freeing, liberating, like, you get to answer your own question. You don't have to look around and hope someone else, or maybe this will change, or no, just change it. Honestly, there's not much in the way. Decide to change, and the only thing in the way is yourself. And that's totally movable, and especially with good help. So, hire the right help, and you won't regret it. So it's right. It's just time. If it's time for you to decide, then go ahead. And there really is nothing in your way.
Awesome, right? With the right mentor, the right tribe, because we've got a kick-ass tribe, really awesome people who love and support each other and champion each other, and in there helping each other. It's really beautiful to witness and see how you guys support one another. I was at the post office this morning. By the way, Yalit, I got your present. Thank you. Smells awesome. I was at the post office this morning. There's a young man who works there, and he's in this Facebook group, and he's getting his money together. If you're here, give a shout out. But he's getting it together so he can come in the service. He's like, hold on a second. I need you to meet my boss, the postmaster. The postmaster comes over, and he's like, oh, she's the one. He's like, I need your card. We need to have a conversation. I mean, and that's me 2 minutes in the post office.
Wow.
I can't help it. I love this so much. And I love that I get to help you guys, and I was telling them a little bit about some of the celebrations, and I started to cry in the post office. I'm like, it's so beautiful though, because it's not about the money, right? I'm going to teach you a strategy. It has a 99.9% success rate. You're going to make that money, but you're also going to have some mindset challenges, and you're going to have that. And I'm going to teach you all that. And this is not about that alone. It's about transforming your life. Truly. It's about getting crystal clear about why you showed up on this planet, and then deciding whether or not that's a decision to make. Are you ready to step into your personal mission in life?
Right.
If you are, let me show you how to finance it by taking it out of the market, one trade at a time. That's it.
And that's the question right there. That's perfect.
That's it.
I don't know anybody else who's asking that question. So if you're ready to say yes to that, go say yes to it,
Because that's what you're saying yes or no to. Now, it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Say yes or no. And even if you never come to my service, go do something about that.
Right.
Get clear about that, and then go take action on that. Don't let another day pass before you take action on your personal mission in life. Okay? Because time is a commodity we don't get back. We can make money all day in the markets if we want. We don't get that time back. But once that time is gone, like the money's gone, you make it again tomorrow. You make more, right? Time is gone. You don't get that back. It's gone. It's gone forever. So don't waste any more of it is the bottom line, right? Get clear about your purpose and then answer that question. Am I ready for that? And why wouldn't you be, right? Why not? All right, everybody, that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up. Adam, it was awesome talking to you. And thank you for really giving me the opportunity to serve you and to support you on this journey. It's really been awesome. And I know we've just begun.
Oh, it's
I'm looking forward to some amazing things from you.
Excellent. Me too. It's a blast. It's absolutely a blast. I love it.
And Mike says that's my favorite thing you said. Find your purpose and have the market fund it. Exactly. That's it. All right, everybody, we're out. You can keep leaving comments later, and we'll check them. And if you need to talk to Adam or me, tag us. Just tag if you have a question for Adam. Tag him, right? Adam Baum Ray. If you have a question for me, tag me. All right, and there's my calendar, ninjaoptionwarriors.com/apply, or just go to the website ninjaoptionwarrior.com, and right on the front page you can book a breakthrough call with me. Again, get your spot. Oh, I forgot. I'm opening one spot right now. So whoever the first person is that messages me that wants to hop on the phone, it's 3:00. I'm going to wait here 2 minutes. Oh, I already see messages popping up.
There you go.
I'm going to wait here 2 minutes, and then I'm taking that person, and then that's it, right? And then otherwise you get on the calendar and wait for a spot. All right, everybody. Have a fabulous long holiday weekend. Happy Martin Luther King Day weekend. Be safe out there, and big love to all of you. And thank you, Adam. Thank you. All right, everybody. Peace out.